So we live in a very, very, very extraordinary times. And we have front row seats to something that is unprecedented on this planet. And what is unprecedented on this planet is the birthing of a new consciousness, a radical shift, not just an augmentation, not just a little adjustment to something that already is. We can't just graft the new consciousness onto an old dinosaur and expect it to be new. Be gracious and let the old world die, the old paradigm. And that means it starts at home. It's not about trying to change anybody else or change the planet or fix it or anything. When I was a student at university, I have 8 or 9 political convictions for, anti-apartheid, anti-Vietnam, anti-this, anti-that. And, I was an angry young man as a student in the early 70s. And that was a time of student power when actually it was really a lot going on with politics at that time. But all I really discovered was that I got a big headache from banging my head against the wall of the system. There's an old saying that if you fight the tar baby, you get stuck to it. But it took me a little while to realize when I started to work with meditation, I started to work with the inner software of my own being, that I realized that there is a far more powerful way of affecting change on this planet. And so what my whole talk tonight is about finding a way to manifest heaven on earth, to bring who you are, who we are, each of us, on higher dimensional frequencies, that is, if you want to use that term, your higher self, and manifesting and ingressing those high dimensional frequencies into this third dimensional plane. To me, that's what it means to manifest heaven on earth, to bring earth to heaven to earth. It's about bringing those dimensions down into the third dimensional plane. And that's what we're here to do at this tumultuous and very important cusp of our evolutionary push at this time. And when I say that I am a master from the fifth dimensional plane, here to manifest heaven on earth with other multi-dimensional masters, I'm not trying to big note myself. I'm not trying to come from an ego going, yeah, I'm a master. What I'm doing is I'm affirming who I am beyond this little third dimensional construct known as DarPan, or known as whoever it is that seems to be manifested here in this third dimensional plane, and bringing more of who we truly are at essence, who we always have been at essence, who we are here to actualize into. And I only see masters around me, because for me, I'm here to manifest heaven on earth with other multidimensional masters. What I'm talking about is a radical shift, a quantum leap into a whole other way of positioning yourself inside of consciousness. For example, a student will think that he needs to gather all this information, I'll study meditation, I'll study the sutras, I'll work with yoga, I'll do... That's not to say that any of those things are wrong or bad, they're not. They're wonderful things to do. But it's not going to give you the answer. The answer that we've all been looking for isn't going to be found out in a linear way where we learn or qualify to be something. How can we do that when we already are that which we seek? We already are it. So it's a matter of bringing that into focus, bringing that into presence, bringing that into the third dimensional plane. And to me, that's what it means to bring heaven to earth. It means ingressing those high dimensional frequencies and anchoring them into the third dimensional plane. And in so doing, we contribute in a massive way for this planet to evolve, because that's what's happening on this planet, whether we like it or not. It is undergoing a massive transformation, even beyond a transformation, a transmutation into something utterly discontinuous from the past. And this is something I want to talk about. Reality selection. It's a very, very important thing. Because if you look at things from a third dimensional viewpoint, the way we measure what is real and what is not real is pretty much limited to what you believe to be real and what you are taught to be real and what the experiences you've had and the fear base that you carry. This is what determines our reality in the third dimensional plane. And this is what we're rubbing up against and banging into all the time in our day-to-day existence. From a fifth dimensional viewpoint, things are real because you declare them to be real. Things are real because you say they are real. In other words, you stop listening to outside authority because you realize on the fourth dimensional plane that outside authority doesn't really know what's going on either. And so what happens at that level of our development is we start to be swayed more powerfully by our inner authority. The inner authority that knows that inside of me there's a whole world which is yet to be explored. On the fifth dimensional plane, which is a plane of unity consciousness, that's where we can start to declare and to start to get an apprehension of what our true potential really, really is. Where we can start to get an experience of ourselves that is non-dual, that is essential, your essence, that is your mastery, your mastery. And we are all masters because we are all eternal, infinite, and immortal. That's the truth. Because when you start to operate from a higher dimension, the other dimensions have no option but to come into alignment with that higher dimension. And so when I declare myself as a multidimensional master, that's what I mean. I mean that I've seen myself on that level. And even if you haven't seen yourself, the moment you start proclaiming it, the universe has no option but to rearrange itself to agree with your picture of reality. That's another immutable law of the universe. The universe rearranges itself to fit your picture of reality. And of course, as we go through life, we will all have our reality from a third dimensional point of view, limited by our beliefs and experiences. And so we get evidence that our beliefs and experiences are correct and true. And we don't want to take on board anything that doesn't involve our belief, because how do we know it's true? And so what do we get? We start just repeating things. And so when you start to proclaim yourself as a master, here to co-create and manifest heaven on earth with other multidimensional masters, you're making a very powerful statement. You're proclaiming something from a higher dimensional viewpoint that then the universe has no option but to rearrange itself to fit your picture of reality. And when you do this at first, you won't have any evidence that what you are saying is true. You're going to have to do this without evidence, without beliefs. Because if you're going to have to believe it first, then you're jumping back into a third dimensional way of measuring what is real and what is not real. The truth is we are fifth dimensional masters, trapped in a third dimensional vehicle with a third dimensional way of looking at things, and that is the limitation we experience. I once had a vision, once upon a vision. I had taken a plant material which catapulted me into a death experience. And I'd done the psychological death many times, right? So, I understood the death rebirth thing. But this time I thought, holy shit, I've gone too far. I'm actually fucking dying, And I thought, am I ready to die? And I thought, no, I'm not. I've still got my daughter. There's all this shit I still need to do. There's projects, there's things I want to explore. No, I'm not ready. Oh my God, what have I done, And then I felt this golden light. It was so brilliant and so warm and so enveloping that suddenly I thought, am I ready to die? And I thought, yes. And I just let myself go into that golden space. And I just saw the world disappear like a will-o'-the-wisp, just like smoke going in the air. It was that insubstantial. I thought, fuck, is that all it was? Is that all it was? But things seemed so real and it was so meaningful and like I had a story there. And, I found myself in this golden place of unity consciousness where I'd always been. I'd never not been. I'm still there now as I speak to you. And I thought, fuck, this is the reality. And once I just thought, it was almost like consciousness thought, I just have a little snooze, zzz, go to sleep. And I had this dream that I had this life on Earth, DarPan, like all these things going on. Everything was so meaningful. There was a destiny, fate, meaning to life, all of that. And it was just like, oh, is that all it was? Wow, amazing. So I thought if I ever have to go back down there, I just have to remember myself at essence, in the truth of it, as a unified field of consciousness, and that I was a point of consciousness that was sentient. There was an I, but it wasn't this little ego I of this body, this third-dimensional being or entity. It was an I that expanded to include everything, all things, and yet it was still a sense of I. I am. I am. And at that space, the most shocking thing that occurred to me in that space was that it all means nothing. Nada. Nothing. That was so shocking. I thought, fuck, but what about destiny? What about meaning? What about... And I just saw that all meaning in life was stuff I'd put onto it. All my beliefs, all my projections, all my conditioning, all of who I thought I was created the meaning in my life. And then I saw that really the universe is like a child at play with coloured balls. It's just like doing it because it just does it. It's just for the hell of it, for fun. And it occurred to me that when a rose gives off its perfume, does it really care if someone is there to sniff it and smell it and appreciate it, or does it just do it because it does it? And in that space, I started to understand what Castaneda meant in his book, A Separate Reality, Don Juan, where he said, the art of the magician is this. The art of the magician is that the magician knows it means fuck all, nada. But he acts, or she acts, as if it meant everything, as if your entire existence depended upon it. That's the trick. It's this beautiful razor's edge balance of sitting on the razor's edge, of knowing that it means nothing, all this phenomenal world, that it is an illusion, that it is Maya. All the great masters have talked about it, that it's just a play of consciousness. And it is, because from that place of unity consciousness, it was almost like consciousness got bored and it just said, let's just play a game. Let's just pretend we're not one. Let's just pretend we're separate for a while, just so we can have the fun of recognizing each other again and being one. And that's the only reason, the only meaning that I could find with it. And so that place and that golden light, of course I did come back into my body. I actually didn't die, and I was very happy about that. It was like, wow, I'm back, you know, like, but I always remember that place. I'm always connected to that place. Whenever I get fucked up or really down or depressed, no, I rarely get depressed, but you know, I'm moody, angry, whatever, I remember that place. And then instantly things start to shift, because that's who I truly am. That place of unity consciousness is what I want to ingress down here into planet Earth, because that is the biggest gift that I can give to all my brothers and sisters who are also masters. And they were like, it's like God consciousness looking at itself in a million different ways and a million different eyes, going, hi, 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 here I am. You know, and it's just a waiting to be discovered that, oh my God, in Lakesh, I am you. I am another yourself. You are I. We are one. And I don't mean that in an intellectual, cute way. I mean in a grokking way. We are one. We have a very limited vision in the third dimensional plane. We're kind of like got these blinkers on. And it appears that you over there is separate from me. It certainly looks real because, you know, this is solid and you're over there and I'm here. But the truth is, quantum physics is already showing this, that everything is just space. That if you go into this microphone or me or anything that appears solid, with a big enough microscope and go in and in and in, when you go beyond the molecules, into the atoms, beyond the atoms, into subatomic particles, into quarks, into those realms, string theory, all of that, it's just space. Just like when we look in the stars, as above, so below. Space. That's what we're made of. Space it's an illusion. And finally science is coming to that. So, you know, like it's a beautiful thing that we do now as we start to come to this place of starting to integrate and bring down, ingress, to manifest those higher aspects of our own being here down into this planet Earth now. Like as this world starts to become dysfunctional and fall apart, just like an old fruit falling from the tree, don't worry about it. Why be worried about the old rotten fruit falling down on the tree when there's new ones growing? But we can't keep our consciousness on the same thing. It's like one of those Gestalt pictures that, you know, like in psychology, they give you sometimes where you see this picture and you see, oh, it's a young woman. But then you look again, you go, oh no, it's an old crone. And you know, and it can switch, you know those pictures? But you can't hold them both at the same time. You're either seeing one or you're seeing the other. So we have to make a choice right now, here, right now. And that choice is between fear and love. It's a binary choice. Like if you're choosing fear, you're going to see the old world crumbling and you're going to get really upset. And you're going to find all the evidence you need to support those feelings of upsetness. And you'll start to feel really small and contracted and fearful and mean and petty. And start to see all those things in life. And start to get really upset and tense. But if you start to see what is being birthed, and it's not a sequential thing. It's not like something has to die, then something has to born. It's happening at the same time. It's simultaneous. As the old is crumbling, so the new is being birthed. Simultaneously. And it's only up to you which one you're going to see. But if you're interested in what is being born, if you're interested in what is birthing in us, through us, we are being willing anchors to anchor that energy here and plant it on planet Earth. This is an amazing thing. Our brothers and sisters in the stars are watching this planet like really focused because something is amazing is happening here. And it's the flowering of consciousness. Planet Earth is about to flower. It's flowering in consciousness as we speak. And it takes each and every one of us to throw just that little bit of grain. There are three ways of making this essential shift that are really, really important. One is a radical shift in identity, who you say you are. The second one is what you imply as your reality, how you live your life, how you want to be with other people. And the third one is how you measure what is real and what is not real. Once you've made radical shifts in those three areas, then all you have to do is co-create heaven on earth with other multidimensional masters and follow spirit without hesitation. You become a humble servant. That's what it means to be a master. You become a humble servant to those higher dimensional frequencies. You get out of the way and you say, this is from the ego's point of view, I don't know how to do this. I've got no fucking idea how to manifest heaven on earth. It's never been done before and I don't have the knowledge pool to be able to do it. And so what happens with ego is it has to die in a certain sense, but not really. Because everything that we've been given, our ideas, our idiosyncrasies, our personality, our ego, can all be used in a very, very positive way once it comes into alignment with spirit. When it thinks it's the boss and running the show and at the helm of the wheel, that's when we're in trouble. It's not that mind is the enemy or the issue. Mind is a great, great tool. I call it the wish-fulfilling tree. Anything that you can imagine, it can manifest. Mind loves projects. It loves it. So what you do is you give spirit, you say, Spirit, I'm here to follow you without hesitation. And if you tell me to go this way today, I'm going to do it. But if you tell me to go the opposite way tomorrow, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Whereas the mind will go, no, but I gave my word. I've got to do this. My reputation's at stake, blah, 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 blah. And it'll start objecting. And so if you start following mind, what happens? You rapidly begin to deteriorate. The mind just goes, I know how to do that. Let me take charge. I'll do this. I'll do it. Hey, I know all the strategies. I can do this. And you start to get this down feeling of like, this is too much. I can't do it. It's a struggle. The moment you notice something is a struggle, drop it. Drop it. It's not coming from spirit. It's coming from mind. It's coming from personality. It's coming from ego. So what I'm talking about is a repositioning of consciousness. You proclaim yourself as a master, a multidimensional master, who we are at essence. And there are parts of each and every one of you that are focalized on those higher dimensions. We just have to start becoming aware of them and embracing them and bringing that down and becoming a humble servant to that energy. What happens is the flow of synchronicity opens up and things start to flow beautifully and naturally and easily and effortlessly and joyously. And you start working in transpersonal co-creative relationships with other multidimensional masters who are also here to manifest heaven on earth i.e. to bring down those higher frequencies into this third dimensional plane. And in so doing, we create the most momentous change that we could never achieve in a political, sociological, or in any other phenomenological way. It's magic. We are all born divine magicians, but we're all taught that we are limited. My work, many of you know that I work with plant medicines. When I started my work with plant medicines 24 years ago, it showed me and gave me an experience, apart from the one that I shared earlier, of this space, who we truly are. And it showed me this incredible state of, it gifted me with a state of consciousness that one could only really call an enlightened state of consciousness. And when I felt that, and it felt like an infinity, although it may have only taken half an hour, I went, okay, if that's where you're going, I'm in. Boots and all, hands, feet, use me. I am your vehicle here on this third dimensional plane. Because once I recognized that, it spoke to something so deep inside of me. I recognized the truth of my essence. And not just when I say my essence, it's your essence, it's everyone's essence. It wasn't that I was having a special experience or that I'm a special person at all. It's just that I have managed through luck to tap into that plenum of consciousness, which I call the fifth dimensional awareness. What medicine said to me was, I'm coming here to shift awareness, to shift a radical shift in consciousness on this planet. Something really wonderful, something really amazing is going to happen here in your lifetime. And we all have front row seats to that event. It is happening now. As we are here now, sitting together, we're sharing in this. And we're activating each other to stand up and be counted and to choose love, not fear. From that place, I thought, okay, if that's where we're going, I don't need to know how we're going to get there. I hand it all over to you. You just give me the next step and I will do it, because it's not my job to work it out. I hand that over to you, Spirit. And you know, all I'm here to do is to act it out and to carry out orders. That's the way I do my work. I just do what I'm told. I'm just a soldier in the field. And as such, I become a humble servant to Spirit. And when you become a humble servant to Spirit, it's like having a cosmic coordinator take care of your life. It's like suddenly you don't have to worry about shit anymore. You don't have to worry about what you got to do or where you're going to go or what's my purpose in life or, you know, all those things I used to be concerned about and get browbeating about, like, what am I meant to be doing? What am I here for, you know? All that disappears once you give it over to Spirit. And Spirit has an overview which my little personality, my little I can't apprehend. So in giving that over, Spirit knows what to do. So all my job is, as being a willing conduit here to the third dimensional plane, to manifest these higher frequencies, ingress them into this third dimensional plane, is simply to follow orders, to simply just, all I would say is give me the next step. When I've done that to the best of my ability, give me the next step. And when that's done to the best of my ability, just give me the next step. Because I know you've showed me where we're going. I don't need to know the way we're going to do that. Up to you. And when I look back in my life in the last 24 years, honestly, I would not have had the temerity or the courage or even the imagination to invent such a path. It's been a miraculous path. It's been a path, a rainbow path, a golden path, not without its challenges. It doesn't mean you're not going to be challenged, because the challenges bring the essence, show you what your true metal is, and it helps you focalize yourself in a more authentic way and in a way that Spirit can fully be there. And there's a very good technique, I call the superconscious technique, that we can do together. And this one's for all the xenophobics in the group, okay? So just repeat after me. Superconscious. Superconscious. By the grace of all that is. By the grace of all that is. Will you manifest. Will you manifest. The essence. The essence. Of the performance and effect. Of the performance and effect. And embodiment. Of my life. Of my life. Getting better. Getting better. And better. And even better. And even better. So that the power of that can be made fully manifest in my experience. And so it is. That was not so difficult, was it? Now, this is not something you need to keep repeating. This is not positive affirmations. This is proclaiming from a fifth dimensional state. where your word is your wand. You don't have to be qualified other than to state who you are at essence consistently to the universe, and the universe will rearrange itself to fit your picture of reality. Take a piece of paper and write down your highest vision version of manifesting heaven on earth. That means that from your inner knowingness, from your inner authority, just paint a picture of what your highest possibilities are and write that down. And don't be afraid to be really, really, really outrageous in terms of how you would like it to be. Then take your vision version of heaven on earth and let that be the arbiter of your reality. Anything that is in resonance with that will hereforth be called real. Anything that is not in resonance with that will be termed a manifested illusion. And that way you can start to very powerfully live your life as a divine magician, as a master, here to co-create, fully to manifest heaven on earth with other multidimensional masters. Thank you very much.
Shanti, Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti.